It's just after 1 o'clock here in Austin and the lights are about to go green to signal the start of qualifying here at the Circuit of the Americas. Austin's a relatively new circuit on the Formula One calendar, and with so few winners, no one has yet been able to stamp their authority on this track. There isn't any one driver that you can guarantee will dominate here.
This year there are so many drivers who could get onto pole position by the end of today's qualifying session. It could be a 4 or 5 way battle. Either way, it's going to be an exciting few minutes.
So here we are, lads, in qualifying for the US Grand Prix on the F1 2015 Career Mode Championship. Once again, there's only 3 more races left after this championship, so this season is quickly coming to an end. But in qualifying, looks like we are a little bit down on pace at the moment, down in P7, so we have to go out for another few runs here. Coming across the line, we go. No, we actually don't even improve on that lap, so early on in the weekend, I don't know, a little bit off the pace, I'm not going to lie. So I had to make some setup changes, made a little adjustment to the front wing, and hopefully that can make us a little bit quicker going through the technical sections of this circuit. So we've already done 2 runs so far, so I fast forwarded to the end of the session, waited for the track to, I guess, get a little bit faster, wait for a little bit more rubber to lay down, and finally we're going out at the end of the session. Hopefully this lap can be an improvement on what we've got at the moment. It's only P10 and we're nowhere near our championship rivals Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg. Across the line we are P6 for the US Grand Prix, so that is where we're going to start.
Welcome to Texas, where we've had approximately 120,000 race fans through the gates to attend this year's US Grand Prix. They're excited, we're excited. I hope you're excited too. Lewis Hamilton starts on pole today, and with the blistering pace he's shown all weekend long, it shouldn't come as a surprise if he leaves the opposition in his wake during the race today.
He'll want to end this weekend on a high after yesterday's fantastic performance, but he's going to have a lot of competition. I doubt he'll be expecting an easy race, especially considering the teams around him.
What can Felipe Massa do from his lowly starting position in today's Grand Prix?
Felipe's Williams is much better than what he showed yesterday. With the car looking good in terms of tyre wear, perhaps we'll see the team try a more risky strategy in order to exploit that.
It's quite interesting that Anthony Davidson says that the Williams is better for the race and it's better on its tyres. So, I don't know, that gives me a little bit of confidence and sort of explains why we're, I don't know, for some reason off the pace in qualifying. Felipe way down the order in P14. So if this Williams is in fact better on its tyres, then we can be a little bit more flexible in terms of our strategy. But here we go, ready for the start of this Grand Prix, putting it down into lean to avoid any more bad starts in this season. Has it worked out? No, it really has not. Almost losing the back end like we did in Japan, but thankfully not into the path of another car this time. Into turn 1, we have somehow maintained our qualifying position, but we're going to try and search for even more on this first lap, because as you guys know, if you can get track position on the first lap, then that's going to help you out so much as you head into the rest of the race. Daniel Ricciardo looking a little bit slow in front of us. We're going to go around the outside, which turns to the inside for this corner, and now we're into P4. So after that dreadful start off the line, we managed to recover quite well and into P4, losing the back end there as we went over the curb. But nothing really happened for the rest of the first stint. We weren't really able to match the leader's pace, so that was a little bit unfortunate. But I decided, since, you know, nothing else is really going for us, I may as well go for the undercut and see what happens, because Anthony Davidson did say the Williams is fairly good on its tyres, so I'm going to try and exploit that. We should be able to get away with running longer later on in the race, if that makes sense, on our options, and then finally prime tyres. But this strategy is something I've not really done before this season, so we're going to have to contest with a little bit of traffic on this first lap. Getting in front of Maldonado is going to be absolutely key though, and it looks like we might have just about done that. It's a bit of a scrap now between myself and Maldonado, and yes, we just get in front of him there, so that was very crucial to our race and our battle with Mercedes and Ferrari that we got in front of those guys. Now we can see at the end of lap 8, we can see all these guys pulling into the pit lane. That was very lucky that they really didn't hold me up at all. So very, very grateful to those guys and my teammate for just pulling out of the way there. Now the start of lap 9, we can see the leaders are now making their stops. And we've jumped Lewis Hamilton. We have jumped Lewis Hamilton, who was in second place before the first round of pit stops. So that is absolutely crucial for our race now. Lap 9. Is that Kimi Raikkonen pulling into the pits? No, it was Daniel Kvyat, who was still scheduled to make one of his stops. So now we're in effective third place as Vettel is in front of us, and so too is Nico Rosberg, who leads this race. But again, nothing really happened in this middle stint. I was just trying to chase down Vettel and also keep Lewis Hamilton behind me. But through this middle stint of the race, we were actually dead even on pace with the leaders. So that was very, very encouraging considering we had older tyres than everyone around us. So heading into the final stint of the race, we were on a set of prime tyres, doing the undercut by 1 lap once again. So we're going to see the effects of tyre wear possibly at the end of the race if we can't look after them. But lap 16, we can see the leaders once again are making their stops. And we're just going to see if the undercut has worked once again. We jump Hamilton, that's standard. But now comes Vettel out of the pit lane. Are we going to jump him too? We're definitely a lot closer than what we were before the second round of pit stops. And look at the traction we've got on exit. Vettel has got cold tyres, so we need to get in front of him right now. Can we make the move stick into the S section? Yes, we can. Effective second place, and that is going to make a big difference in the standings if the race finishes like this. But now on the very next lap, Vettel all of a sudden made another pit stop. I have no idea why. I don't believe he retired, so maybe it was a drive-through. I don't know, because from what I could see, nothing was wrong with Vettel's car. Like, he didn't have a lost front wing, he didn't make contact with anyone, so maybe he got done for corner cutting or something. I don't know. I honestly do not know why Vettel would come into the pits 1 lap after just making his final stop. But we got the gap out to Hamilton by about 4 or 5 seconds, but then for the rest of the race after that, Hamilton really started to close us in big time. And as you can see on the final lap, the gap is literally nothing. He's within DRS, so I had to move to the inside there to break traction. Or not traction, what am I talking about? To break the slipstream so that Hamilton wouldn't get close to us. And finally, Nico Rosberg has won the race. We're just coming through the final couple of corners. My tyres were absolutely shot for the final 3 laps of this race. You would not believe how much nursing I had to do and how well I had to drive to get this Williams on the podium here in America. But that was such a close race that, I don't know, words can't really describe it, but that was a really, really enjoyable race from my point of view.
Top drive from Nico Rosberg today. The German finished on the top step of the podium with a comprehensive performance.
Sometimes a driver just feels comfortable in the car and is dialed into the track, making for an unbeatable combination.
After all that excitement, it's time for a lie down, I think. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye until the next race.
So there we go, lads. That has been the US Grand Prix for Season 1 of F1 2015 Career Mode. Now, I say this is a really enjoyable race because it was just simply so close between us and the Mercedes boys at the top of the standings. Just words can't explain. I really had to push. It felt like I was doing a league race again. Like, I really had to depend upon the undercut to really get me in the battle, and then I had to sort of defend towards the end of that race. I was driving so consistently that, yeah, one little mistake and Hamilton would catch up by multiple tenths a lap. So it was really close. Like, that's why there was no overtaking. It took me so long to catch up to those guys. And then once I got in, you know, the top 2, I really did not want to give that up. So very consistent race, very enjoyable from my point of view, but not too much action going on the track, if that makes sense. But after that race, we are now 30 points behind Lewis Hamilton. And good thing that we've closed the gap a little bit, but it's not enough, is it? We really need to start winning these races if we want to get involved in the Drivers' Championship. But that's been this video for today. The next race will be in Mexico. So first career mode race for me around there. I'm not too sure how we're going to do at all. I'll need to do some extended practice to really get in the groove around that track. And hopefully we can be the first winner of the Mexico Grand Prix in the modern stance of F1. But that's going to do this video for today. Until my next one, guys, I will see you next time.